Surrender in the spiritual sense is nothing more than stepping into right alignment with what is actually real. That's all that means. It's not, I'm weak. It's not, I couldn't hack it. It's not, I have to become subservient to some kind of God that I have no relationship with, or I have to become subservient to some other person or people who are telling me what to do. It's simply, I have decided to surrender the part of me that hasn't been seeing reality clearly. I've decided to participate in what's real. That's all that is. Surrender. Step into what's real. Let go of what keeps you at a distance from intelligence. Let go of what keeps you at a distance from consciousness. We have Jamie in the circle with us here today. And Jamie, I'd like to ask you to unmute yourself and please present what's on your heart and on your mind for the global In the Circle community.
Thank you. And Steph, I'm so sorry for your loss, but I'm so grateful for the gift that you'll be putting out in the world from that. And Tommy, thank you. I'm extremely grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of this. I first met you on a screen coaching program about 6 years ago now, and it was the real catalyst to truly put me onto the path. I was fortunate enough to be able to meet you later that year at a retreat and a few others since then. And essentially, you've been a central part of my recovery narrative for what has now been over 5 years of, I'll say dryness, because that leads to my inquiry. I, along the way, have received, of course, from you, others in the Recovery 2.0 community, but from many other places, a lot of wisdom. I have had, I believe, 4 sponsors and tried the steps with each of them. Sincerely tried within the bounds of where I was at the time. I became certified as a Kundalini yoga teacher. I found a lot of growth and progress in Kundalini, and so I felt a calling to that mat in that respect. I've become a coach myself. I have allowed for medication when it's been necessary, other means. As recently as this week, I guess last week now, I had a conversation with a member of the community that I really respect about, what is the one thing that's going to help me get to the next place, and is it the steps? And when I feel resistance to the steps, is that ego or is it just my path? We landed on putting yoga at the top of my list for the time being. But then less than 24 hours later, I had a different conversation that made it clear that no, the steps are exactly what you need to get back to with the next level of humility and ego breakthrough. My question is, I am very much living in the frequency of addiction. And so I'm over 5 years sober from drugs and alcohol, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And what has become possible in my life through that, I couldn't have imagined, just as you and anyone else has promised. And every idea and suggestion I've been given along the way was a really, really good one, really good one. And yet I find myself here, having prayed, having gone to the top of a mountain. Literally, I went to a mountain here in Colorado to the top and have prayed for surrender. My ego has such a death grip on this notion of surrender that there's still something in the way. And I want it so badly, and I believe in a higher power and all the things, and yet I'm still squarely in the frequency. And I would love to hear your thoughts on now what?
Mm-hmm. Before I dive in, I just want to ask a couple of questions, if you don't mind. Do you have children?
Yes.
2, 3 is 2?
2 little girls.
2 little girls. How old are they? If you
5 and 7.
Okay, you have young children, and you have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you have a job, a career. Okay, are there any challenges in any of those areas?
Yes.
Okay, okay, I can relate. Okay, thank you. I believe different people find, their way in different ways. That is to say, there isn't one way to find freedom. It is available to anybody, no matter what. No matter what. And so the question is, if that's true, and if you believe that to be true, what is my path to freedom? The steps and yoga, in a way, are like practice. The steps and yoga are like practice. What are we practicing? We're practicing living more skillfully, more wisely, in a more connected manner. We are moving beyond our own misconceptions. We're coming to a greater experience of truth, a deeper experience of truth. That's the point. You could describe that many different ways, but I think that's generally the point. I want to see things clearly. I want to be connected to the truth. I want to be healthy in mind and body. I want to be able to show up in the world without the mental plague of addiction, or physical or spiritual. I want to be free. And in order to be free, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, we've been told, and it's been shown, that in order to be free, we just have to be on a path towards the truth. That in and of itself is a mission and a purpose. Sometimes people say, I don't know what my mission is. And I say, oh, well, make your mission finding your mission. Make your mission the path itself. Without this idea that I have to get somewhere, I'm broken, I have to fix myself. I've got these addictions over here that are just plaguing me, and so there's something wrong inherently with me. And someday I'll be able to do the right program or the right thing, or the right words will come at the right time, and those addictions will just drop away. The tremendous misunderstanding of this has to do with the method of letting go. You use the word surrender. We'll come to that in a minute. But the method of letting go. People think, I'll just let go. I should be able to let go of this now. I've seen that this is painful for me. I've seen that I've caused damage to myself, maybe others. I should just be able to just boop, boop, just release my hand. I'm carrying a big weight. I should just be able to let the weight go. And yet, that's not how that works. And this is really, really important to understand how letting go actually takes place. Letting go takes place when you realize the irrelevance of the thing that has had a hold on you. And until you realize the irrelevance of the thing for you, that it no longer has a place in your life, then it goes. That's how it goes. As long as somewhere consciously or even subconsciously, there's even a fleeting thought, this still serves me in some way, it's still relevant for you. The work of the steps and yoga, which to me are the same thing. The 12 steps are yoga. Yoga is the 12 steps and so much more, of course, but the 12 steps are a subset of yoga. We'll put that in the it's the psychological, spiritual, mental form of yoga. They're just simply there to help you let go of the unnecessary, to release the things that no longer serve you. You don't just release the things that no longer serve you. You go through the practices and the contemplation and the prayer and the meditation so that you have an expansion of your awareness and of your consciousness. You are more aware, more conscious than you used to be, and you literally elevate to this place where those behaviors no longer apply. An example I could give you, I've used this example before, but it'll serve us again here. So, it wouldn't shock you to know that a person who is a severe heroin addict steals, lies, cheats. That would not be a hard thing for you to grasp, right? Okay, I'm seeing you nod your head. Why not? Aren't there honest, kind, non-cheating, non-thieving heroin addicts out there? Well, it just so happens that when you're in the consciousness of doing heroin, of being in an addiction that's so dense and so powerful, that these behaviors seem to go along with that frequency or that consciousness level. As a person finds recovery, that same person, 5 years later, they're not cheating, they're not stealing, they're not lying. In their core, they're not a cheat. They're not a thief. They're not a liar. But their behavior has been an outcropping of the awareness and consciousness that they've been able to develop in this life. And all of the factors and the inputs and the influences that are upon them. Well, as you move along your recovery, you're at a new place. And from this new place, you notice, I don't do the things I used to do, but I'm still struggling over here with these things. And so I'm going to double down on my practices. I'm going to immerse myself in the effort of awakening to the next place for me. When I say, don't take that, anybody listening to this, don't take that as I'm saying that you need to wake up. That would sound arrogant and off-putting. Let me say it to you this way. We all need to wake up. Everybody needs to wake up to the next place of awakening for them. We're all working at becoming better, or we're not. But for you and the people that are listening to this on a path of discovery, in recovery from something, we're sincerely working at this. So all this is about is reframing how you think about letting go. Thinking of, I'm broken, so I do these behaviors. No, I'm stuck in a frequency. And these behaviors exist in this frequency. I'm going to do everything I can to change the channel. Now, how do you do that? Okay. So that's getting to the meat of your question here. Is the 12 steps going to be the thing for you? Let's hope so. Is yoga going to be the thing for you? God, I sure hope it is. You know, where's the cavalry? Who's coming? The only thing you must do, which is the only thing I must do, is earnestly seek. Just orient yourself towards the universe, the wider band of intelligence. Put yourself around people that you consider to be further along the path than you. Immerse yourself in a deeper way than you have already. That might mean you go on a 7-day yoga retreat that's completely immersive. That's the thing that's going on there. These immersive events can have a very profound effect very quickly. They can elevate you. And then from there, the work must continue on a daily basis. If I were coaching with you, I would ask you about your morning practice. I would ask you what you're eating. I would ask you about your routines and your schedule. And since you've expressed, I'm still stuck in the frequency of addiction, I would say, okay, let's get radical about switching up a few things. And then there are the heartfelt conversations that need to take place, where you express to a brother like me, or anyone that you trust and care for and love. And you have the real conversation, the conversation we can't even have here on In the Circle because it's too personal for any of us. You have that conversation and you let it out and you realize, wow, I'm really not alone. Other people are struggling with exactly the same things that I am. Somebody's love and presence, and they don't need to be a teacher, they don't need to be anything. They just need to be a friend, a present with you. But it could be a teacher or therapist or a sponsor or whatever. But someone's going to deliver some words, and those words in and of themselves could open the gate to the next level, the next place for you. Just those words. But you would have done the practices necessary to be able to hear and receive those words in the way where that would transform your life. Otherwise, it could just go right over your head and miss the teaching altogether. So that's why we practice, to be in a state of readiness and awareness, to expand ourselves, to get clearer, and to move ourselves in the direction of a greater expression of truth. That's all you have to do. That's all any of us have to do, I feel, to have full success, full fulfillment in this life. You will get as far as you need to be, as far as you can in this life, with the wholehearted effort and steady effort of moving towards a greater expression of truth. Other people would say moving towards God or spirit or higher power, higher self, wisdom, the quantum field, connecting in to the motherboard and accessing the greater bandwidth of consciousness itself. It can come through the 12 steps. It can come through yoga. It can come through prayer. It can come through a walk in nature. It can come from a conversation with your partner or your children. You could put your children to bed one night and look into their eyes and it happens. That bolt of love and presence, and all of a sudden, all that other crap fell away. A child has the ability to do that. But we would have to be open to that and present for that. And we have the ability to give that to our children also once we are rooted and grounded in ourself. Children, most children, especially young children, have the advantage. They have the advantage. They haven't accumulated as much as we have. They're closer to the source for many. Also, with regards to this inquiry of what's going to do it, it really, as we're doing here together, it requires, in my opinion, a review of the stories that we're carrying. So, for example, the story of, well, I've got addiction. This is what I am. This is how I am. I'm stuck. I don't know how to get out. Why can't I let go? Why can't I let go? And then feeling very badly about yourself. Hopefully, we reframed a little bit here how to let go and how to refocus the effort towards greater success with that effort. We say as human beings, to err is human, to forgive divine. I actually take that literally. We make mistakes. I don't think we have the ability to forgive. I think we have to do a few things to set the field, to plant the garden of forgiveness, but we can't do it. And I feel the same way about letting go. I have never been able to let go when someone told me to let go. Why can't you just let go? Let go. It doesn't work that way. It would be more helpful if someone said to me, let me show you how you can come to greater understanding of the thing that you are experiencing. Now that is helpful. That's helpful. But why can't they let go? Or if you do it to yourself, why can't I let go? Like that inner dialogue has to stop right now, because there are things that you can do right now to be fully immersed in the pathway towards greater access to the power that will help you to let go, and the understanding and the wisdom. And then letting go it won't be because of your effort, of course. Letting go doesn't require effort, does it? It'll just happen because you came into the consciousness where the thing which once had a grasp on you becomes irrelevant. There's something more. Just hold a minute. The reason I asked you if you have children was because I wanted to get a sense of your freedom. Freedom meaning, how much time do you have? How, are you, and the fact that you have 2 young children would indicate to me that that's where your focus is, and appropriately, that needs to be there. Nonetheless, working with your partner in tandem to find times where you can put yourself into immersive experiences, I think is incredibly important. If that's not possible, that's okay. You stay with your steadiness, practice in the morning when you wake up, go to bed, work the body, work the lungs, continue to have these kinds of conversations on a regular basis. Work yourself forward out of the story that you're carrying into this newfound freedom. Feel what it feels like in your body to be relaxed and to let go of the unnecessary. If you can get to an immersive experience, like if I had you for say a week or two, we would engage in some very intensive training, which would involve a particular approach to yoga, meditation, breath work, and discussion or contemplation, a review of what we're thinking on a regular basis to start to upgrade that thinking. We do the practices which help us to expand, and then we got to go out and live it. And it's no longer in a way, yoga is a dress rehearsal, right? You do what you do on the mat, but it's when you get off the mat, that's where the game is. That's where the action is. So I highly recommend for you in particular, because first of all, you have energy in your body, you're in good shape, and you can move. And I would incorporate a lot of movement. And I would also incorporate the building of the meditative mind, to see the separation between you and your thoughts and these ideas that keep us in the addiction frequency. These are the initial things that come to my mind in terms of this inquiry. There's more, but that's good for now. And I want to just hear what comes up for you.
I think woo exhale is what comes up. You always nail it. When you first started talking, my ego showed up and I saw it and it said, see, Tommy's telling you don't have to do the steps. You get to be different. and then immediately I'm like, I see you, and that's not what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you taking into account my circumstances, my blessings, really, because I'm blessed with the most supportive, wonderful partner, the most amazing children. I see more and more as I go along consciousness in big and small ways. I'm looking out the window at a bluebird sky in Colorado, which I know is a near and dear concept to your heart. Every time I go to your alma mater to teach, I'm being of service. And also I have a child who is a mini me in all of the best ways and is challenged in all of the ways that I was, but no one noticed when I was her age. Mm-hmm. And so I have a reparenting opportunity in front of me that is a spiritual practice. And I'm very aware that it's nothing less than, and perhaps my most important one. And so it's really just reassuring to know that this is my path and I'm not looking through the window at my path as it sometimes feels. And I think reframe is the right hack for me. Yeah, that's really powerful. And I believe in the steps and the virtues of the steps and all of the things, but the way you framed it up as, it's a practice, it's a dry run for when you get to those moments when, things go code red, et cetera.
It's really important what you just said, because I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I went to yoga practice today, I'm great in my life. And no, what you did was you went to yoga practice today, and it doesn't indicate one way or the other anything about your life, except that you made it to yoga practice, and that's a great thing. But now what did you do with that? Yeah. And so it's really important to remember, like the work is of being conscious with our words internally and externally, and showing up in the world in ways that are skillful, and also being like kind to yourself, that you're a human being and you're going to make mistakes like we all do, and you're imperfect and that's perfect, like all of us. And so to be a little kinder and a little easier, because you have so many blessings in your life, as you were able to just say. So that begs the question, are we being hard on ourselves? Are we looking for perfection? Are we looking to be, something beyond what is reasonable or possible at this moment? And could we just find some peace with the way things are? And so now I'm going to invoke the word surrender. And I just want to say a few words on this, because it's obviously so important. Surrender in the spiritual sense is nothing more than stepping into right alignment with what is actually real. That's all that means. It's not, I'm weak. It's not, I couldn't hack it. It's not, I have to become subservient to some kind of God that I have no relationship with, or I have to become subservient to some other person or people who are telling me what to do. It's simply, I have decided to surrender the part of me that hasn't been seeing reality clearly. I've decided to participate in what's real. That's all that is. And man, people misunderstand it brutally. Sling that word around, surrender to God. I'm like, oh, brimstone, fire. Like what, I'm back in some ideology that makes absolutely no sense to me. And so that's not my path. Surrender, step into what's real. Let go of what keeps you at a distance from intelligence. Let go of what keeps you at a distance from consciousness. That's all we're saying. In yoga, we have a term, Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara is like the supreme being. It's not God. It doesn't use that word. That's not what that means. It's the supreme being. It's that which is. It's the real truth. It's absolute reality itself. Ishvara Pranidhana means to enter into, collaborate with. So we get confused because of old Judeo-Christian, old religious ideas that are being confused around this idea of surrender to God and what that means. If we can look at God as truthful or truth itself, or that which is, what is real. Yes, who doesn't want to surrender into that? Of course we do. And that's a one day at a time decision and a process. And so the surrender is every morning when you wake up. I'm going to do it again. In my head about, sex, drugs, money, power, memory, resentment, anxiety, depression, stress, or just thinking about the billion things I have to get to this day and however am I going to have the energy to get through it. This is no way to live a life. And there is a choice. And people who don't feel that there is a choice, for them, there is no choice until they feel it. Or at least until they're inspired to try to strive for something different, which is what we're doing here in the circle. This is a surrender right here. In the circle, what are we doing? We're exploring these ideas and the challenges of being alive as a human being, and we're exploring in the effort to move closer to the truth. This is a surrender here. And so very important that we often just a reframe of some of these ideas and these words can be so helpful and so empowering. So I want to thank you both so much. And Jamie, thank you so much for coming on and asking this incredible inquiry. And if you have a week, come somewhere where I am and I'll kick your ass. In the spiritual sense, of course. And we could have an immersive experience of surrender and getting in there. So I really sincerely hope that we get to do that sometime.